So what's going on, everybody? It's your man Mike DeLoach, and here bring you some more content. And this is gonna be an episode of a trip through Albuquerque. And as of now, as you can see, we're facing west, getting ready to hit that 25. And I'm just coming off of Montgomery, by the way. Oh, gotta slow down a little bit for you so you can get a view of those Sandia Mountains, the Sandia Peak, Sandia Crest, however you want to look at it. You know what I mean? But you can see how far it stretches. All right, and now we're off. But again, this is, I'm just gonna give a few videos of me kind of cruising through the city, man. As you can see, I forget what time of day this is, if I'm being honest. But traffic is pretty steady. Again, this is the 25 heading southbound, towards Socorro, Crucius, whatever, when you look at it. But this is the junction, this is the big eye. Excuse me. So this is where you jump on the 40. And I slow it down again a little bit for you, just so you can get another view of those Sandia Mountains at a different angle, and that's the thing, when you're coming across different parts of the city, you get a different view of certain things, the mountains being one of them, but it's definitely a sight to see, if you ever get a chance. And we'll probably throw this in too, but if you ever get a chance, be sure to drive up to the top of the mountain. A lot of people think that the only way to get up there is through the tram, but you can't actually drive all the way to the top of the Sandia Crest, So right now we are I-40 eastbound, and obviously, things are a little sped up, you know what I mean? But yeah, this is the 40, man, and again, you can see on the 40, traffic is still pretty steady, you know what I mean? And in certain parts of the city, it has its bottlenecks, but for the most part, there's a natural flow. It doesn't really get too jacked up in traffic unless they're doing road work somewhere, doing construction, But other than that, yeah, traffic pretty much, I won't say it's always easy breezy, but traffic is not too bad here. It's starting to get worse just because, a lot of developments going on. Again, a lot of businesses coming to the area. So with the influx of people moving in, excuse me, of course, that's going to affect the traffic as well, but we're going to take it on up to Tramway, you know what I mean? But yeah, almost on Wantabo, you know what I mean? So here we go, coming up on Tramway. So Tramway is like the furthest exit east. If you're coming from the west, that's the last exit that you're past to get out of Albuquerque. If you're traveling from the east on the 40 coming into Albuquerque, Tramway is basically that first checkpoint to let you know that you've made it to Albuquerque. You know what I mean? But here we are again, starting from the east, so traveling, right now northbound on Tramway. When with the Tramway area, that's again like the furthest east. So along this side, they have the area that's considered, the foothills. You know what I mean? And I mean, make this a separate video, but I actually have a video of me going up into one of the hiking trails, so you can kind of see some of the houses or whatever. But this is considered like part of the foothills, if you would, but over to the left on Tramway, they was doing some road work coming southbound, but yeah. Oh, I actually started slowing down. Right, watch this. I almost caught a wreck on the road, you know what I mean? So look at the car right there in the right lane. Check it out. I'm gonna zoom in real quick so you can get a good look at it. Okay, here we go. Boom. It was going on Rover Street. Red Rover. Send the Jeep Cherokee right on over. That Jeep Cherokee almost hit that car, and then Look at this car swerving. At first, I thought like, okay, like, you know, they being cautious in traffic or whatever. But here it is, you almost got into an accident. Somebody almost hit you, and now you're getting distracted on the road, and you're starting to swerve. So people are tripped, man. And like I said, you never know what you see when you're traveling on the road. You know what I mean? But as far as Tramway, Tramway does extend all the way down to Paseo. When I'll give you some views of Paseo as well. But basically, a lot of the roads that you can get off, they kind of stretch across the city for the most part. But here it is now. We're coming down Montgomery westbound. You know what I mean? And as you can see, when you're coming down from Tramway, and you may not could see that on the interstate, but you kind of start to see it's starting to go downhill. So again, in previous videos, I spoke of how Albuquerque is like a bowl, and then when you're traveling from the east, basically when you're on the east, you can see all of the west, and when you're on the west, you can see all of the east, and then you have the valley. You know what I'm saying? So as you can see now, we're kind of going downhill. So at some point, I will drop that video of just the area in the valley and whatnot. But basically right here it's a downhill slope. You know what I mean? And you can kind of pretty much, if the traffic is if you get out green lights, you can pretty much just cruise coming down from Tramway on whatever street. I won't say on whatever street, but those main roads where there's not as many stop signs. You can just ease off the gas and just let it coast. You know what I mean? So that's one thing I do like, I guess, about having the hills and whatnot and having these slopes, because sometimes I don't even gotta put my foot on the gas. You know what I mean? But anyway, Montgomery is one of those main roads, if you would, as far as having access. And fun fact, there's only like 6 ways that you can get from the east to the west side crossing over the Rio Grande. You have Rio Bravo, you have Cesar Chavez, you have Central, then you have Montgomery, you have Paseo, and then you have Alameda. Even though Montgomery does turn into Montano once you do get to the 25, but there's only 6 ways that you can get to the west side from the east side crossing the river. And I would have to say that maybe a little bittersweet, because along those ways getting to the west, now I'll be sure to drop this as well, but basically in the afternoons, traffic is hell getting on the west side, and that's where a lot of the residential neighborhoods are at too, with the newer developments on the west. And so a lot of people have to travel west going home. And so those 6 main streets that I just mentioned out, they get backed up in the afternoon traffic. And kind of like the same thing in the morning. People that live on that side, they work on the east side, so you notice that in the morning, the 40 going eastbound can get backed up at the 25 junction. And like I said, vice versa in the afternoon, those same places in the afternoon and going vice versa, it gets backed up. But as you can see, Montgomery is definitely one of those busier highways. A lot of businesses and apartment buildings and access to other residential neighborhoods are off Montgomery. And it's a nice little stretch of highway. I'm not too sure how long it is in terms of like the miles or whatever. I guess I should do my research, but it's a pretty good stretch of highway. And like I said, one of those busy streets. But I actually stay off Montgomery myself. I'm not going to give full details, but I do live off Montgomery. It was one of when I first moved out here, I moved out here in 2008. Montgomery was one of the first places, or the first streets that I lived on. So I don't know if, like they say, people are creatures of habit. And so it's just the fact that, when I first moved out here, I was more familiar with this side of town or this area to be here now, But even along Montgomery though, man, they starting to do, like, even with the lights, you see how I got the like the reflection on the lights. That's new. So they're slowly starting to redevelop Montgomery, if you would, and kind of spruce up the area a little bit. And of course there's road work they're looking to get into here in 2022, I believe, or maybe 2023, but they're looking to redo the interstate right there at the interchange at Montgomery and Comanche off of the 25. So of course, other avenues or other things like right here on the left, like they just redid these trees and added the trees and whatnot, and with the middle one, putting the things in the middle, you know what I'm saying? So I'm pretty sure they're gonna go back and probably paint some of that area too, and this is how you can tell right here in this moment where I just swerved to the right. You could tell a lot of people are looking to either get on the interstate, you know what I'm saying, just because again, it's one of those major highways, so people are getting over so they can get prepared to get on the interstate. But this was just a little quick trip from Tramway to Montgomery, but again, I'm your man, Mike DeLoach, here bring you some content of a black man in New Mexico. So until next time, we'll holla back.